Mabuhay Kamustika, welcome. How are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. How to honor your Filipino wife and why today. Honoring our wife is something God tells us to do after it tells us to dwell with them in an understanding way. Much like love, I think honor needs to be shown by what we do more than by what we feel. There is an article I will link in the description box that I wanted to share with you, and another one I will link after that. Before I can honor my Filipino wife, I need to know what that means. Please subscribe to Love Beyond the Sea, and I will do my best to help foreigners have a good relationship with a Filipina. And to do that, we have to talk about some out of the ordinary topics. One of them is honoring this woman. Should you marry her? I'm going through a podcast series at lvbts.com right now about pornography, because you won't be able to honor your wife if you are involved in that. So please check that out. The link is in the description box. So now from the article I will link later on in the description box, this is a definition of honor: a valuing by which the price is fixed. A valuing by which the price is fixed. Also deference, reverence. We honor the position, not necessarily the person. The Bible tells us to honor thy father and mother. It's Ephesians 6 verse 2. And when we honor our parents, we are honoring their position as our parents, not necessarily their person. It is the same way with a husband or wife. A wife is called to respect her husband's position, even if his person is not respectable. Ephesians 5:33. Now this is from the article, and I do agree with it. A husband is called to honor his wife's position, even if her person is not worthy of that honor. For most of us, while our parents may have been imperfect, they not only deserve to be honored for their position as our parents, but they also deserve to be honored for their performance as our parents. Me talking now, in a sense, we are to honor our supervisor at work by virtue of their position, our boss, and their performance. We may not like them as a person. Maybe they don't always treat people with respect or fairly. However, we must do what they ask us to do. They have a position we don't have and are paid more because of having a job with more responsibility and perhaps more risk. It's the same way with parents, as the author states: position, performance. Another excerpt and disclaimer, since he is going to talk about praise here. He says, on the other hand, praising one's wife does not mean we have to worship her or give her false praise for things she has not really done. They say if your wife is frigid in the bedroom, you don't have to pretend like she rocked your world when she clearly just phoned it in. And you don't have to praise her for her sexual availability if she only allows you to have sex for her once or twice a month. Remember that unlike the agape love, that is unconditional, love from the will, not based on feelings, that men are called to in the scriptures to have towards their wife, praise is something that is earned by one's actions. The link has 12 ways to honor your wife. I will link the video, How to Praise Your Filipino Wife, in the description box. It's one of the ones I did. So now from the article, 12 ways to honor your wife. Praise her faith. This is something that I need to do, as I hadn't thought about praising her for this in the past, but it makes sense. And by the way, the points here from the article and the comments are mine. Number 2, praise her use of her talents. My wife is bright and is good with gadgets and computers, things like that. She also likes to fix things, and she's very resourceful. It is important to not criticize her or belittle her for not having particular skills. Number 3, praise her submission. Praise your wife for her submission to your headship, especially when it is hard to do. You might have to make a decision as the head of your home that she disagrees with, but when she recognizes your authority to do so and follows you, even when she disagrees, don't forget to show your appreciation for that. Don't take that for granted. When my wife and I got married, she wanted to do the visa paperwork, spousal visa, maybe to save money, maybe to show me that she is competent, and I know she is. However, I just wanted to get it done and over with and minimize the risk of mistakes that could keep us apart longer or cause us to quibble and argue about things. I'm not overly impressed with the forms and questions as they seem antiquated and didn't always make sense to me, so I insisted I hire someone to handle it for us. This was a tussle, and I wasn't expecting that. We talked about how important it was for me to do what I thought was best, and that I would try to defer to her as much as possible, just not with this. She finally relented and said she would submit to my desire in this area. I might have said thank you, but I should have told her that I appreciated that she submitted to this despite knowing how she felt. Number 4, praise her wisdom. Praise your wife for her wisdom when she gives you advice that really helps you make a good decision, and praise her when she gave you advice that you didn't follow, but later you found to be right. Now, that comment did come from the article. My dream Filipina is good at helping me to calm down before talking to someone when she knows I am very upset or frustrated. Just the other night, she was jokingly reminding me of the time I got scammed by someone claiming to be working for a Microsoft technical team who was telling me I had something wrong with the computer. It was one of those things when you're using a computer and then all of a sudden you get a message on the screen, your computer freezes and you think something is very wrong with it, so you get bilked out of money to get it fixed. When in reality there was probably nothing wrong with it, just a scam. I am better at the next 4 ways to honor my wife. Like number 5, praise her cooking. Praise her for every meal she makes, the article says, even if it does not taste good. Praise the effort. Cannot argue with that. Number 6, praise her care of your home. The article said, praise her and notice when she cleans the house, even if it is done imperfectly. And a wife probably will spend quite a bit of time on your house, and she probably will care that it looks nice, and so that's something important for you to remember. Number 7 in the article, praise her organization. They say praise her for how she looks out for your family to make sure everyone has the right clothes and the house is stocked correctly. And that's a good idea. See, these things are not really hard, but they are part of honoring your wife, and they will go a long way to enhance your marriage. Number 8, praise her efforts to make herself beautiful. They say praise her whenever she fixes herself up, when she puts on makeup and nice clothes. Never forget to praise her for this. Tell her she is beautiful, and I get good marks for that one. Number 9, praise her efforts to be sexy for you. Guess they make more comments here than I thought, but this is from the article. Praise her when she dresses sexy for you, or when she puts on lingerie. Never take that for granted. That's just a good principle, throughout your marriage. Don't take your wife granted in any way. Now, I know how my wife feels about wearing certain things, and we don't agree on what is acceptable all the time, so this can be a sensitive thing to talk about. If you want her to wear something that she isn't comfortable with, just be polite and explain why it is important to you, but don't pressure. And number 10, honor her for respecting the importance of sex in your marriage. They say praise her when she initiates sex and show her your gratitude. Recognize her when you know she acted selflessly and had sex with you even when she was not in the mood. Well said. Number 11, if you have children, make your children respect her position. They say respect your wife's position as your children's mother and authority. Don't let your children undermine your wife's authority. And unless they tell you something immoral or sinful she has done, something abusive or wrong, you need to back her up. I agree with that. Even if she's a younger woman and she's new to your home, maybe you've got younger children that are still there. I do agree those kids need to know that they need to support their mother and her authority, and it doesn't matter if she just got there. They need to do what she tells them to, or you need to make sure that there are consequences for that. So I agree with 11 very, very much. Number 12, protect her reputation whenever possible. From the article, if you need to confront your wife about something she has done wrong, try to do this in private. There are some exceptions where confronting her behavior in front of others is appropriate. They say, for instance, If your wife disrespects you in front of your children, it is appropriate to call her out on this in front of them so they will understand that type of behavior is not acceptable. And I say if a husband does not live with his wife in an understanding way or in a considerate way and doesn't honor her, God makes a startling promise. He will hinder our prayers. And so this is continuing. This article here is about honoring your wife. And this is from the Bible, 1 Peter 3:7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them, your wives, according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. That's 1 Peter 3:7. So that's a command. I have personally experienced answered prayer I consider came from a God who knows me and understands me completely, and it felt good. But here I need to know how I treat my wife matters so much to God that failure to be considerate and honor her for her position and performance will result in God deciding to not grant a request or to maybe put it on hold. In another place in the Bible, it says God will not hear us if we have unrepentant sin in our life. So he hears us all right. He just won't respond. He will cast a deaf ear to prayers that don't meet his conditions for answered prayer. This point about hindered prayer is as important as anything else that I have mentioned here, but I think that verse needs no further elaboration. I will have some additional ways to honor your wife from another article coming up soon, and I will link that for you and add my own thoughts as we continue next time right here on Love Beyond the Sea.